Okay, guys, Mom's home from rehab. We're sitting out here on the porch, got a little breeze going, a little bit of coffee. She's got her teeth in. I fluffed her hair. Doesn't she look pretty? So we had breakfast, we showered, and we are relaxing before we go do our Elvis rehab session, because my shoulders are already hurting. She's only been home since yesterday afternoon, so I need to strengthen my upper body.
Oh, here it comes out.
And she's still got to do some work with the walker, and then we got her, I think it's called a rollator. It's very similar to what I had for my husband. The VA got that, and it was called a transporter, but it's very similar to what she's got.
Yeah.
And she's doing pretty good with it. She showered herself. She pottied herself. She changed for the most part. Needed a little bit of help. Obviously, she's still weak. She was very bad in rehab and didn't do much rehabbing. She was refusing. So, that's my job. I'm going to strengthen her up. The other problem with rehab is if she's not going to go to the physical therapy, is they'll do everything else for you, which I don't. I want to see what she can do. My husband, when I took care of him for 12 years, he was adamant to do as much as he could for himself. He was a military guy. He was super embarrassed that I had to help him do certain things like shower and, potty and all. And he tried very hard to do as much as he could for himself. Mom is a little bit of a different animal, so we have to teach her. And I guess that's my job. Because I did have to teach Nick, not because he couldn't or wouldn't, I should say. Because he came home from the hospital after the first 25 days, 79 pounds. He was just too weak to do anything. So I had to rehab him myself. And of course, we're going to rehab her too. Right, Mom?
Yeah.
Gonna rehab you?
I guess.
Yeah, because you didn't do your rehab for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
It can do me at 5 days here.
Yeah. Well, I'm here for. So, we didn't do any rehab yesterday because I was here on Wednesday because she was released on Wednesday. So, there you have it. She's all ready, refreshed, ready for her rehab. Maybe we'll show you some of that.
I guess they were all telling me I'm happy because I'm good. But I ain't that good yet.
Well, no, because you didn't do your physical therapy. You have to do that. Then you'll get strong. Okay, guys. We'll be back with some rehab. Okay. It's the afternoon. Just had lunch.
It's just
Sitting out on the porch, watching the birds, hoping the storms don't start. Mom's doing good.
Yeah.
First day home. We did a little physical therapy. Her legs and her feet. Her arm. She's having a little upper body strength issues. And so am I. I had to do some upper body strength for my shoulders.
I hope it goes away because it hurts.
So yeah, we're just having a little coffee, little watching the birds, the breeze.
Yeah, he was always pleasant.
We fixed her hair again.
Yeah.
She scared me half to death. Put her teeth in her glasses on the sink.
Yeah.
of the vanity, and then she didn't. When I came back in, they didn't. She didn't have them on, and I'm like, she said she couldn't find them.
Oh, she didn't?
Then I looked in her teeth thing, and they were gone. And then I looked in her mouth, and they were in her mouth. So.
Well, I don't think I need the bottom teeth.
No, but you said you couldn't find the upper teeth.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, they were in your mouth, dear. So you must have found them.
I did. I don't know why, how I got
But she scared me half to death.
Huh?
He said, you scared me half to death. I thought I lost your teeth.
I thought I got
all kinds of fun.
Huh?
I said, we're having all kinds of fun.
I thought he nursed my teeth.
Yeah.
He fixed my eyes.
Uh-huh.
And we had everything.
Yeah, the glasses
fixed.
did that. Yes.
Yeah. We don't have to have them teeth.
She's eating her Mediterranean diet very nicely.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep you updated on that. Okay, guys. Mom is doing fantastic. I showed you some of the stuff I bought that I put in her water and in her food. One of them is MCT oil. One is for diabetes. It's berberine. A few other things that are good for diabetics, like supplement. It's like a dropper. Wednesday, the day she came home, saw her room, was like, it's nice, and fell asleep, and that was that day. That was the end of it. So that was a little discouraging. But each day, Thursday and Friday, she's improved. Stayed up longer, had a little bit more clarity, is doing her physical therapy. I'm doing like a reward thing. She loves to sit on the porch. That's when I've been videoing with you guys. That's sort of her reward for doing her physical therapy, is to go sit outside. And I enjoy it too. It's just I've been doing a little research into how to rebuild pathways and doing things they like, and reward systems and blah blah blah, and of course repetitiveness. And so Thursday was an improvement. Yesterday was really an improvement, especially cognitively. She has sort of hallucinations with the Lewy body dementia. And she seems to think that she has children, or the children come visit her. Now, for the longest time, it's been 2 girls. We have the working theory that it's her 2 sisters. One died in a fire at 7 with her grandmother. Now we've switched from the 2 girls to a boy. And apparently it's my uncle who has this boy. Now, my uncle does have a new grandson. Actually, the first one in the past year. So that's very highly likely that that's who she's hallucinating about. But she stopped all about the babies yesterday. She made complete and total sense, talking about things she hasn't done in a long time. She used to love this restaurant near her, and she hasn't been in probably a couple of years. And she mentioned it because I said to her, what do you want to do? Because Thursday's our day out. She's going to the hairdressers for the first time since she had the seizure. So I said, if you do good, because we purposely made it, Thursdays is her normal hairdresser day. We purposely made it for the following week, because I said, I think I need time to work with her, to get her to follow a schedule and stuff. Because one of the last times when she was not doing well, I
was actually late for her hairdresser appointment. At the time that she was supposed to be at the hairdresser appointment, thank God it's only a few minutes away, she was standing naked in her bedroom. So it was becoming hard, and her appointment's at 12:30, so it's not like this should be difficult. This is why we make it for 12:30. So anyway, I told my brother when he made the appointment to make it for next week. Give me a chance to work with her, get her on a schedule, a routine, get her stronger before I take her out. So anyway, as she's gaining clarity and wanting to go to the hairdressers and, realizing this is her reward, going out on the porch, going out, because now that I've gone through everything and I've found things that really don't work well when she can't take care of herself. She has a lot of these legging tight pants, and of course when you're wet it's hard to get them off if you've got shoes or anything on, even without that. And it's definitely hard for me to get them off for her. And so I put all of them aside, and we'll see how she does, taking care of herself. So we're going to take her to that restaurant for lunch, and we're going to take her out to get pants and grippy socks. So that's her reward. She's dying to go shopping. She's always loved to shop. I'm not a fan, but I do love seeing her light up and enjoying herself. Sort of being who she's always been. So anyway, so that's going to be Thursday. So we'll see how she does. But I did want to say that my brother texted me this morning and said she got up on her own. She took her shower, dressed herself, pottied herself in the middle of the night, changed her diaper herself. Because we have both the tabs for when she can't. It's easier for me to have the tabs, like if I'm rolling her from side to side in the bed and she's tired, and I use them Wednesday. And Thursday and yesterday I didn't have to. She did get up and have to go to the bathroom and tell me and change her diaper, and when I'm there I go in with her and make sure she's cleaning herself properly and all that. My brother doesn't necessarily do that. He waits outside the bathroom door, but then he goes in and checks to make sure because sometimes she misses the potty and all kinds of stuff. So but anyway, he said she did all that on her own and came out, was dressed, and they made her breakfast and coffee, and he said her attitude has improved dramatically because she was a very unhappy camper in the rehab. And the last couple of days she's been telling me she's so glad to be home, and everything's so beautiful now. Like the first day out, we were all very disappointed, me and my brother, because we worked our butts off for her. My brother spent a fortune on equipment and a adjustable bed for her, and that was her response was, it's nice. Now, Thursday and into Friday, slowly you being like, I can't believe it, it's beautiful, you're beautiful, I love you guys, it's great, I'm so glad to be home, the rehab was horrible, So from that standpoint, I was right, because my husband, when my husband was sick, he was the worst patient on the planet. Very hard to control in the hospital. They would call me. One time my doctor called me at 6:30 in the morning, and he's foreign. He says, Carol, me need your help. Nikki B, bad boy. And it was, so I go over there, and of course he had to meet me because it wasn't even visiting hours or anything. And he had to meet me and walk me back, and there were his lung doctor, 2 nurses, and 2 orderlies. So there's 5 people in the room. My doctor called for his doctor friend who was the lung doctor. So, but, you know, he just couldn't seem to be able to control him, even though he had been called upon to help. And my husband was jumping up and down on the bed. He had his back to me, and blood was going everywhere. He pulled his IV out, and I walked in and said, "What are you doing? You should be ashamed of yourself." He immediately sat down on the bed, got real sweet, and says, "Honey, I just wanted to know where my wife was. But now you're here. I'm good." So I had to stay so the lung doctor could do what he had to do. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, he was naked when he was jumping up and down, because the nurse had gotten his diaper off, but he wanted me to put the diaper on, because that's what he was used to. So I let them get him cleaned up and all that, and the orderlies left because they were just kind of there for backup, because they were guys. And so then my doctor had to walk me back out, and when we get out of hearing distance of anyone, he says to me, "How do you do it?" So I said, "I take Paxil." He said, "No, I would need more than Paxil." And I said, "Well, the only other thing I can really come up with is when he got sick, everybody in his life, with the exception of 2 of his friends, just sort of disappeared." And Nick was very, very funny guy, very, very popular, life of the party kind of person, loved, you know, throwing parties, having company, going out to dinner, all that biz. And the one friend that he was close to would come every Friday, and he died the first year that Nick was sick. The second one was actually my friend, who became very close to Nick because his son had passed away. He was my GM in my business, Karen's Creative Interiors, and he was my general manager, and he was a friend of mine since I was like 17, and obviously my GM. And Nick was born on the same day, the same year as his son, who had passed away many years before. So they had quite a special bond, him and my husband, even though he was my friend. Lou lived till 2016, a couple of years before Nick passed. And Lou died 10 days shy of 90. He was a fantastic friend to both of us. But anyway, I told the doctor, I believe I am the one constant that is still here, both before he got sick and after he got sick. And that's why I'm able to handle him, control him, I don't know. That, along with, you know, I think at that time it had been probably 16, 17 years of marriage, that you just know somebody, you know, what they like, what they don't like, you know, you're used to them. You've lived with them through thick and thin. So anyway, back to my mother. I think Nick, my husband, being a horrible patient, and I'm not a great patient. I only had 1 week-long stay in the hospital. A lot of my surgeries that I had after the car accident were in and out, same day kind of thing. So it wasn't too bad. But the 1 week stay in the hospital, I was like a cat on a hot tin roof. It was over my kidney with the car accident. And they weren't sure if they were going to have to take my kidney. So I was bedbound. I didn't like being bed-bathed. I didn't like not being able to go to the bathroom, take a shower, la 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 la. So I was not a very good patient either. But I think it depends on the person, and I think these institutions are just not, they're not like home. Sorry. They're just not. And you got strangers taking care of you. You got, you know, rules and routines and stuff that aren't necessarily your normal routine. Because mom's pretty routine. I am, and we get that from the military growing up. And of course, she was married to my father, who was in the military for 22 and a half years. So I think just being home, reestablishing her own routine, because she is very clean. She does like to get up, get dressed. She does like to go out. She does like to go to lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, shop, you know. And that probably has served her well this far, because, you know, her eyesight's going, her ears are going, you know, her hearing, and she's way too vain to get a hearing aid. I've got a hearing aid, for crying out loud, because I have small ear canals and I get water in them. So I wear whichever one gets, it takes a couple of days for it to get itself out of there, work it out. So, but my brother was very thrilled this morning that she was getting, you know, pottying herself, getting up on her own, using the rollator, because I really worked hard with the rollator, because that is something she's not used to. I had one from my husband. I have one that I keep in the car from my husband. He got from the VA. They called it a transporter, but it's very similar. I think I'm going to put her back on the walker, because I do think the rollator's a bit cumbersome. That's more for when we go out. I think it gives her a place to sit if she finds herself tired or weak. It has a pouch, like to store her purse and, you know, belongings. Has even a little cup holder and the whole nine. It's really tricked out. It's adorable. But I think it's a bit cumbersome for around the house. Trouble fitting in, you know, certain walkways and stuff. So, but I do want her to at least be able to manage it, because when we go out, I think that's important, that she has that extra stability over the walker. So, but around the house, I'm going to, once she gets really good, because my brother did say she did use the rollator this morning, and so once she gets practice with that, I think we're going to go back to the walker around the house. Just when she goes out, we'll use the rollator. But that has been a useful tool. And I don't know if I've told you guys, but I checked my husband out of rehab when he first got sick. Blessing of my doctors, his doctors, they were my doctors. I called them in. But anyway, I rehabbed him myself. And I also got him out of rehab the last time before he passed. And was intending, he died 6.5 hours after he came home. But my intention was to rehab him myself. I had all the equipment here. And because he was 8 months since the hip surgery and not learning to walk again, because he had all kinds of breathing difficulties. He had COPD. And, you know, after all those years of him having COPD, I knew how to get his breathing up, but they just wouldn't try. You know what I mean? And, yeah, because there are ways to do that. And they, especially at a medical facility, they have ways of doing that. And, they would just let it go and not rehab them. And it's like, no, you gotta work at it. And that was my intention to do that. So, but I rehabbed him the first time. He came home 79 pounds. He could hardly hold a coffee cup. I rehabbed him all the way back in 9 months from them telling me 4 times that he might not make it through the night in that, you know, where he'd been hospitalized for throwing blood clots, to in 9 months having his colostomy reversed, because they said he was probably not going to make it through the night, not going to live long enough to have the colostomy reversed. So in 9 months, I got him off the cigarettes, off the certain medications, because, you know, they have you on blood thinners for the blood clots. Got his weight back up to probably within a few pounds, 10 pounds or so, maybe tops, of his normal weight, so that they would perform the surgery, and they did. Then he immediately lost a lot of weight again because he had a colostomy. So, anyway, Mom is bouncing back beautifully. Cross our fingers, say a prayer that we have a nice long period of time with her kind of blooming, coming out again, you know, just plain being grateful, learning again, taking care of herself again. Don't know how much of that's the diet. I'm going to get into more with the diet. I really switched gears when she had the seizure to spend a lot of time learning more, because seizure is something none of us knew anything about. And my brother's very much on top of all this. You know, neurologist and specialist and what can we do? No, money is not an object, and her care and her comfort and conveniences for her is not an object. The cost is not an object. So, but we were blindsided by the seizures, and of course 2020 hindsight, seeing that final week was a precursor, and there's signs that we just weren't aware of what we were seeing. And it was mostly me, because my brother happened to be on vacation that week. So, but I was like, what the heck happened here? And, you know, I didn't even contact my brother. I didn't want him worrying, because my brother, in fact, just spent Thursday in the hospital because blood pressure shot up, which he does not have high blood pressure. But I do think that was his body's final warning, saying, you've got to slow down. We all have to slow down. We've all been on this treadmill 24/7 for 5 weeks, because the day she came home literally was 5 weeks, that same day from the day she had the seizure. But that was a very disappointing day. Hence, next day, his blood pressure was, I mean, it really was disappointing for all of us that she, you know, just came home one sleep, didn't have any excitement about anything. And that's really not my mom. She loves beauty. She loves pretty things, pretty clothes, you know, being clean, you know. So that first day back was like, oh, you know, we thought getting her out of the rehab would be helpful. And turned out it was. Just was sort of a delayed reaction. So that's our update for the week. I hope I didn't bore you with too much ramblings. But we're having a happy day. Thought it was a great note to put the video up on. And please, if you or a family member or anyone you know, love, has dementia or is worried about getting dementia, please like, subscribe, follow, and comment down below. I love to hear comments. And tell me what your journey's been. And follow us. And I will see you on the next video. Prayers.